This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Get your popcorn ready for the opening day of the 118th Congress, which is expected to feature a historic fight on the House floor over who will serve as Speaker under new Republican leadership. Susan Ferricchio reports California Congressman Kevin McCarthy is not guaranteed to secure enough Republican votes to win the Speaker's gavel in a floor vote. If 5 Republicans choose not to vote for him, the process would head to a second ballot, something that hasn't happened since 1923. McCarthy has been negotiating with a small faction of rank-and-file conservatives who have refused to support him. Up until the final moments before Tuesday's vote, McCarthy was still negotiating to change House rules in exchange for their support. At least 9 Republican lawmakers on the fence about McCarthy said Sunday that his concessions were insufficient. The National Labor Relations Board has proposed an overhaul of the franchise business model by reclassifying workers at restaurant or hotel chains as employees of the parent companies. Jeff Murdoch reports the move would make it easier to unionize across entire brands. Under the proposal, the board would reclassify franchise workers as employees of their parent companies, such as McDonald's, Marriott, and Taco Bell. Franchise workers are currently designated as employees of franchisees or contractors, the independent business owners who license the franchises. Proponents say the plan empowers workers to stop unfair treatment. The parent company has more power than franchisees to change workplace policies and make concessions. Opponents warned that the change would devastate an industry that employs 8.2 million people and contributes roughly 7% to the nation's overall economic output. The Internal Revenue Service is preparing to staff up in the new year, as lawmakers say they want a backlog of cases cleared and more revenue secured from taxpayers. Congress earmarked roughly $80 billion for the IRS in the spending bill passed through Congress over the summer, Stephen Dinan reports. The money was split into 3 broad pots: $46 billion for enforcement, $6 billion for taxpayer services, and the rest for support. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she wants thousands more employees answering calls from Americans and investments in better technology to process tax returns automatically. The enforcement money has attracted the most attention, though, and things remain unclear on how it will be used. You can read all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. You can also find the entire lineup of Washington Times podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. Bill Gertz takes a look at recently released CIA documents dating back to the Cold War. Documents made public last month include formerly top-secret interviews with senior CIA counterintelligence officials, including noted counterspy chief James Angleton. Angleton, who died in 1987, remains a towering figure in intelligence circles among supporters and detractors, a shadowy counterspy who became the subject of novels and nonfiction for decades. Others credit Angleton with protecting CIA operations from spy penetration by using defectors from Moscow that helped roll up large numbers of Soviet spies and agents around the world. And finally, Valerie Richardson takes a look at the expansion of drag queen story hours across the country. The San Francisco Public Library held the first in December of 2015. Drag queens have been performing since at least the 1800s, but mainly in specialized bars, nightclubs, and competitions. After the reality show RuPaul's Drag Race debuted in 2009, the phenomenon went mainstream. Promoting literacy and combating bigotry are some of the aims of the programs, but critics worry that the story hours go beyond those ideas. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Washington Times in any major podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.